Now, I think some things might just be in our heads. Like we make up scenarios of what we think is happening, but in reality, that's probably not the case. You have some people who, it ain't even everybody. It's probably a small minority of people that think if folks found out what they did as far as collecting quote unquote action figures or toys, that they would people would talk about them and trip on them, right? I did a video probably like 2 or 3 months ago where I basically said I don't care what people think. Like, honestly, they can get the middle finger. You know, if they got a problem with the fact that I collect all this stuff, you know, that's on them, not me. But honestly, I've been doing this for a little over 20 years now, and negative responses are very, very far few in between. It's like a small minority of people who might have had something smart or stupid to say. But for the most part, I don't have any issues with the stuff that I collect or what I got going on. Most people are cool. So yeah, some collectors assume their friends and family will make fun of them, but most people aren't tripping. Not to say you won't run into someone who doesn't have something negative to say. I'm just saying that's the minority. Hell, I've gotten a few comments in most of my recent videos of people talking crazy. Even on the video where I was talking about people talking crazy, somebody was in the comments talking crazy. I had one person telling me somebody need to be telling you too damn old to be collecting toys. And that was on the video I did about not being too old to collect. So it's going to be some people, but like strangers on YouTube, some random fools on YouTube, I can give a damn what they think. You know, I'm too old to care what people think or have to say. But again, most people aren't tripping. So, you know, even though I say I don't care what people think, it's still kind of fun to see what people think when they see your stuff. For the most part, I've had nothing but positive experiences from everybody around me, from friends, family, to even strangers. And I'm talking about in real life, not on the internet. I've had maintenance crews come through to work on stuff. And, you know, like if you need something done with plumbing, or I had like the people come and replace my furnace, replace my hot water heater. So you get all these people that got to come down in your basement. And that's where all my stuff is at, in my basement, right? They get downstairs in the basement. A lot of times they come downstairs to my basement and it's the first thing you see. As soon as you come around the corner, you see all of this. I mean, I got stuff not just over here, but I got stuff back behind me over here. I got stuff along this wall here, and then all this stuff right here before you even get to all that other stuff, which is in the back area of my basement. So the first thing they see when they come down here is all this stuff. And I can't tell you how many times they come in and they just get stuck. It's almost to where they get stuck to where I got to remind them, hey, you know, you here to do some work, on my house, not to get stuck in my little action figure museum. So, you know, they get stuck and they just be in amazement. They just be like, wow. I've had some that start naming off stuff. They start giving me the breakdown on, oh, that's so-and-so. Yeah, he was in that movie. That was a good movie. You saw the movie because you got the figure. Wasn't that a good movie? What you think about we start having whole conversations about just stuff that ain't got nothing to do with what they here for. Talking about different movies, that type of stuff. So strangers come over and they are always pretty much cool. I've not had one person come over. If they did, they probably did it outside. Not around me like, man, I can't believe he got all these damn toys. You know, they might have did that outside, but inside the house, they was acting like big ass kids. So they can say one thing out there, but when they was in here, they was doing something totally different. I've had positive experiences with strangers. My kids, let me tell you about my kids. Like, people have little kids. If you teach them young not to touch the stuff, you ain't got to worry about it. Like, when I started collecting, I didn't have children. Now I got 2 children. One is grown and one almost grown. But I had this stuff before they was even around. I had stuff. So when they was born and they got to the age where they can crawl around and walk around and all that stuff, I got them early to like certain things you don't touch. Now when they was like in that stage where they was just walking around tearing up stuff, like I had this is back when collecting DVDs was cool and CDs was cool. Now everybody want to stream everything, but I had a full CD and DVD collection. And I had like shelves of them, right? My daughter, she didn't bother things. She didn't mess with nothing. She just walked around my table and she would do the couch thing when she was walking, you know, doing her little exploring the house when she was little. So she really wasn't a problem. My son was the little destructor, you know, the destructor kind or whatever, walking around destroying stuff. He would get my DVDs and he'd pull them all off the shelf. He'd go to the CDs. He'd start pulling them off the shelf. So my action figures at that time, I had them in this large IKEA-like bookcase that had the glass doors, and I had them further up top, but they also had glass doors on them so they couldn't get to the stuff. So I never had to worry about them touching the stuff at that age. As they got older and they understood, then that's when I had stuff lower and all that, and I would tell them, don't touch this stuff. This stuff is off limits. You can touch that. You can touch that. You can touch that. They knew not to touch those though. And that stuck with them. So they grew up learning like this stuff is not toys to be played with. They knew the difference between toys and the high end stuff. And even as they got older and like their little friends would come over or whatever, a lot of times they wouldn't be in the basement. So I didn't really have to worry about that. But if they ever was in the basement, like watching a movie on the big TV, they even made sure their little friends didn't touch nothing either. The one time I had something broken in my collection, it was from somebody else's children. Broke one of my model cars. And I still ain't got my money back for that. But me and that person don't talk anymore like that. They never did pay me my money. But yeah, so that's the only time I've ever had somebody break something, a child, but it wasn't my own child. My children knew not to touch this stuff. And even to this day, being older, they know not to mess with nothing. It's ingrained in them. But as they got older, especially, well, no, my daughter and my son, they both have a great appreciation for this stuff right here. You know, they look at it as art also. They kind of got like the mindset that I got. And my daughter and my son both collect different things, not necessarily this stuff. They both got their own different things that they collect. My son, he kind of grew out of it. My daughter, she still collects things. He'll be back though. Watch, he'll be back. Funny story, right? My children, right? My daughter is grown and my son is not too far off, as I said, right? Recently had their birthday parties or birthday gatherings or whatever you want to call it in the basement. And they use the man cave because that's the big screen TV. I got the sound bar. I got the bass thing over here. So you get like surround sound when you're watching the movies. You know, I got all my movie posters up on the wall, all along this wall over here. So it's like the movie room also. So they both had their parties down here or they get togethers on separate days. My daughter had her friends, you know, come through, and then my son had his friends come through. And when they set foot in the basement, they pretty much was awestruck. Both my daughter's friends and my son's friends. My daughter's friends, who are young adults, cause she's 19, 20, 19. Her friends are in the range from like 18 to like 23, something like that. 'Cause she's in college. So she got all her college friends, right? They came through and like I said, they was awestruck and then they had like all kinds of questions for me. And I'm trying to stay out the way because I'm like, this ain't, this is her time and her friends' time. I wasn't even down here. I was upstairs chilling. But every now and then they would need something, so I would bring it down. And if I brought something down, I would be down here for a second because they would have like all kind of questions for me. One of her male friends was like, now this is a man's dream. A man's cave like this is what I want when I get my house. This is a man's dream. One of her female friends, she had questions for me, but I wasn't even downstairs. She came and found me upstairs because we had some stuff in the kitchen for them to, come and get also to bring downstairs. I was in the kitchen getting some stuff together for them. She came upstairs and she had so many questions, it turned into an interview. I mean, she wrote them down because she was down here so into the stuff. She wrote down all the questions she wanted to ask to make sure she didn't miss nothing. And she came upstairs and she asked me all those questions. I was getting interviewed. I had a real live interview. I'm like, I feel like I'm on a talk show. Now keep in mind, again, I wasn't part of this party, but somehow I became a part of the party. So I guess you could say I'm the cool parent. Yeah, we gonna go with that. I'm the cool parent. My daughter is always trying to jack me for some of my pieces. I had to get her a Grimlock because she kept trying to take mine. So I got her own Grimlock. She liked the dinosaur mode. So I got her, what is it, Super 7 Grimlock? So she can stay away from my stuff. Get your own. I got a couple pieces that she bought for herself that she ended up giving me. But I don't collect pops. I'm not a Funko Pop person, but I got 2 Funko Pops that she gave me. Now she's trying to take my damn Bumblebee from me. So I got to keep an eye on her. If my Bumblebee is all of a sudden missing from the collection, I know who got it. My son friends, they did the same thing. They came down here. They didn't ask all the questions like my daughter's friends, but they was down here just like tripping. So since my daughter has gotten older, she sees more the one into the collecting stuff a little bit harder than my son. My son no longer collects. He's in the games now and that type of stuff. It's kind of like I was. When I was a teenager, I could have cared less about toys, action figures, any of that stuff. I don't even know what happened to all my stuff that I had. Once I hit like age 11, 12, toys and all that stuff kind of went out the window for me. I got into music, started rapping, started liking girls and being on that type of stuff. So and video games. I wasn't into anything else. I was still drawing, but I wasn't into toys like that. So I kind of understand where he's at. But whenever he does come downstairs, he's always like, when did you get this? Where did he come from? Why'd you get him? You should have got this dude. Oh shoot, you got this? How long you had this? That looks good. So he does that type of stuff, but he's not really into having stuff for himself, which is cool. You know, he get back into it, or when I pass away, he'll inherit all this stuff if I don't take it to the grave with me. So yeah, it's cool. But yeah, he come down here basically trying to tell me how to collect and trying to figure out when did I get something and how and where I should put it and the pose that I got it in. I should change up the pose or some stuff like that. Now, the wife is a different story. Sometimes she'll trip, the other time she cool. It all depends on what's coming in. Like she know them big boxes is money. It's to the point where she don't even want to know what stuff costs no more. She like, I don't even want to know what it costs. I don't even want to know what that costs. Especially, it's not so much more, it's not so much now, but when she was like, for a long time, I was the only one working. Like my wife was a stay at home mom. Like I held it down and, she was at home mom. Damn, I don't know how many years, probably like 18, 19 years. So the whole time it was just me working. 2 cars. This is my second house. Mortgage, lights, water, gas, trash, maintenance on the house, whatever, all that stuff that come along with having a family, owning a house. All that stuff has always been taken care of. My family ain't never had to worry about not having food to eat, roof over their head, got a daughter in college, got a son in private school. It ain't been till recently when I've been feeling the crunch, with this inflation. And I ain't gonna get into all the politics and all that, but now that my kids are older, my wife decided to go back to work. So we got double income now, but for a long time, it was just me. So when she see them big ass boxes coming, she always be like, oh boy, what did you get? You really think you should have got that? I'm like, hell yeah, I should have got it. And I'm gonna get them. But yeah, she got to the point, she's like, I don't even want to know how much that costs. You know what? Just keep it to yourself. But, that's my experience. Y'all can drop y'all experience in the comments. Like I said, it's mostly positive. I rarely ever have any type of negative anything in reference to when it comes to my collection. But that's it. That's all I got today. I'm going to get up out of here. I will catch y'all at the next video. I'm out.